Family, hello everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I cook something for you guys, so you can look at the chart. You can see that in a nice buy on go, right? Okay, guys, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm going to go deeper into this particular trading setup and give more details in which I use in order to execute this particular trade. So you guys always know this execution is never easy. So when you execute and it plays out like this, it gives so much joy. So I want you to actually stop everything you are doing and look for a pen and a paper and focus on this video from the start right up to the end of the video. So this video is for you guys. It's gonna remain here on YouTube, so look it many times as much as you can, because the video will remain here on YouTube. No one will take it down from here. It is going to remain here forever and ever. So you guys should actually appreciate that too. So and take that training very serious. Okay, let me go to where I did my analysis, right? Okay, what I always do is when I open my chart, the first thing is to go to the 4 hour time frame, right? Here, this time frame is where I'm gonna be doing my analysis, where I'm potentially marking up my key levels and marking up my channels and marking up my key levels, right? Okay, when I'm talking of key levels, I'm talking of support and resistance and dynamic support and resistance. So support and resistance is what I do on the 4 hour time frame, right? For instance, like we have normal support and resistance, basically like when price have made a reaction on the 4 hour chart, like you got this particular area here. Let me annotate it so you can see. We got a bounce here, another bounce, another rejection here, two and three. So this is an an area of interest, right? Or you can say an area of value. We got another bounce here, another bounce here, another bounce here. So there's an area of value, right? Okay, that is not just it. Let me show you more. We got this area of value here as well, right? Price made a bounce there. Okay, then we got this upward trend line, made a two, one, two. So a trend line is valid when it has at least minimum two touches. So another trend line here, another trend line here. So you guys know this, right? When we actually tap above the trend line, we are pushing lower, right? We tap below, we are pushing higher, right? If we tap below, we are pushing higher. We tap above, we are pushing lower. So this is just the basics of what I do. So okay, with that said, you guys actually have seen what I do here. On the 4 hour chart, I only focus on the key levels, and that is support and resistance, and the dynamic, which is the trend line dynamic key levels. That is the thing I do here. Okay, then on once I'm done with my key levels mark up on the 4 hour chart, I will then move to the one hour time frame. On the 1 hour time frame, I'm going to be analyzing structure. You guys know, no matter what we do in the market, we always have to analyze structure, because structure is king, right? Structure tells us where price is going to. Okay, when I analyze structure, then I analyze price action. That is my entry confirmation, right? Okay, basically on the left hand side, we got this pullback here. We got this bearish structure. Looking at structure, you can see where lower low, lower high, lower low, lower highs, lower highs, lower low, and then we made a lower high here, and that was now from there. That was now from there that we actually that's now from there that we actually started selling, right? Okay, we made a sell here. We made a sell towards this key level, but this pullback, right, it gave us a W shape pattern, and that actually broke this high here, and that gave us a bullish break of structure. Why is it a bullish break of structure? Because price actually made a W pattern here and then broke this structure. Okay, with that said, we have to now enter in the market from an area of interest. So the market now made a retracement towards this our key level, our key level, this particular area here. That's our key level. When the market made a retracement there, we didn't actually acknowledge the fact that price actually made a break of structure here. So we then look for our entry confirmation. Our entry confirmation is AMD. So we look for the AMD pattern before we enter. AMD is like we have one candle that is going to be creating our range, and then the second candle is going to create the manipulation, and then the third candle, now that's where we enter the level of the third candle. That's AMD. So these things are actually basic concepts that you guys just pass your eyes on it. So you saw when price actually gave us this AMD here on the 1 hour time frame, accumulation, then candle number 2 tap up our key level, and then the third candle, that's when I entered. Immediately as the second candle closed, I entered at the level of the third candle. So the market then started pushing higher. Let me explain something to you guys. Whenever you place a trade, right, ask yourself where you want to move your stuff to break even. So looking at the chart, I noticed that this 1 hour trend line here is going to be acting as a barrier. So when I took the buy from here, I then, let me be annotating, when I took the buy from here, from this entry, I put my stop loss to be the low of that manipulation candle. Then I also have to ask myself, where am I going to move my stops to break even? Because I can't just take a trade and waste my pips, right? I can't just take a trade and waste my pips. After wasting the pips, I still take stop loss, right? It's normal for me to take stop loss. In the situation where I take a trade and immediately goes to my stop loss, okay, I can actually bargain with the market for that. But I won't actually waste my pips for that reason, right? So when I took the buy here from this entry at 4027.321, that's the entry. The market then went towards this mini 1 hour trend line. So I moved my stop loss. I shifted my stop loss from here to the entry here. You understand what I mean, right? Right? That is now where I shifted my stop loss, because I don't want to be in a situation where I was already smiling, I was already taking screenshot, I was already in a joyful situation, and I then become sad again. You see what I mean, right? It doesn't make sense, right? Okay, I'm making this video for you guys, so I always want to like spice it up a little bit so that you guys can enjoy the rants, but you guys should actually focus on the real information which I'm passing out. Okay, now that we got this particular break of this 1 hour mini trend line here, so now we can expect that price can make a retracement, maybe on the trend line, or the retracement deeper below the trend line. So nevertheless, we are already in profit. Our stops are already at break even, so we are targeting this opposing resistance here, and our risk to reward is 3R. Is 3R. We are going in for a 3R risk to reward. So now you can consider, now I'm considering to probably take my profits at 3R. At 3R, I'll take it here. At 3R, I'll take my profit here where I plan to take it initially. I'm not afraid, guys. You know, when the market is making this crazy pullbacks near your entry, so sorry, near your TP, sometimes it can be like the market wants to just reverse when you have not even hit TP. No. But I'm just gonna be patient. I'll be patient and be seeing, how the market is behaving here, because I know that the market is bullish, right? Since it has made this W shape pattern, and it is pushing higher, so I'm expecting it to just continue, continue this pullback, and even if it's making a retracement, a minor one, and just go push up. And also I'm expecting that the market should actually come back at least to this bearish trend line here, this 4 hour trend line. So it act on this 4 hour trend line, and also maybe continue selling. So these are the possible scenarios in which we can expect it might just go touch this trend line or break it and retest it and continue going up, or you can just go and touch it and just sell. So anything can happen. So you should just focus on the information in which you are getting based on what we are looking at. Okay guys, this is the end of the video. I don't want to make the video too long. If you have enjoyed the video, please consider like, comment, subscribe, share the video everywhere, Instagram, TikTok, uh everywhere that you can share it. Share it on YouTube everywhere, share it on YouTube everywhere, so that everyone can learn from the video and also be profitable. So the important things I've said in this video is that, let me make a quick recap, is that you should focus on, the first step is for you to look at your support and resistance level and your dynamic support and resistance level. Right, that is the first thing. Then the second thing is for you to go to the 1 hour time frame and align the structure, the basic structure on the 1 hour time frame. And then we should actually analyze where you expect that the market should actually reach, and you move your stop to break even. Right, you analyze the structure. Basically, that's the second step. The third step is for you to look for a valid AMD pattern at a key level. Right, then you enter. Right, you enter. When you enter the trade, you ask yourself that, where do I expect a potential pullback to happen? Right, that is where you are going to move your stop to break even. That is the first thing, and that is the most important thing, because you can't be in profit then you waste pips again and go to your stop loss. That is the third thing. The entry confirmation, that is AMD, or you can call it CRT. You enter after the two candles. That is the entry confirmation. When you enter, you you always have to make a separation. You see, my 4 hour key levels are black and my 1 hour key levels are red. So that's where I actually mark up my 1 hour level. So it's not the same like the 4 hour. I always have to make a separation. Okay, my risk to reward, minimum risk to reward is always at least 1:2, 1:3. It depends. Minimum one risk to reward. So if the key level is very close, you don't need to adjust. Or you can make a 1:3 and then you take partials depending on how the key level is close to the entry. So to avoid wasting pips. Okay guys, end of the video. If you enjoy the video, you should actually like, share, comment and subscribe. The most important thing is that even if you are taking a 1:1.5, at least you are making money from what you are risking. That's the most important thing, guys. Peace out.